we started him when back a year and a half ago in June, and he had back then he had suffered a L1 compression fracture, and he ended up thankfully he didn't have to have surgery, and we had these patches, and during that time we were able to manage his pain, and he was able to heal at super like quickness. I mean, it was super fast. And he got back. And it's so funny. I'm listening to Debbie's testimony about his dad, Rich, and it's like we are so one and the same, because my dad just turned 85 and he got back into life. He was back at church. Him and my mom both, they were just basically, she had osteoarthritis, and she was just down in the bed all the time. Got him on the patches, and in 5 months, their whole world turned around. But I'm here today to talk about a follow-up with my dad, because back in October, he suffered another injury. It was an L1 fracture, because he had went to go pick my mom up because she had stumbled and fell and tried to pick her up, and he heard a pop. And he called me and he says, Tracy, I think I hurt my back again. And I said, well, let's go take a look and peek at and make sure everything's okay. And he'd been wearing these patches the whole time. And here we are again at 85 years old. He avoided yet another surgery. And he had a little bit of a compression fracture in that other L1. But we were again able to manage his pain. And he had been on like 5 patches, and he's down to like 4 now. He takes the X39, the X49, the Eon, and the carnosine. And let me tell you something, it's been a game changer, because today we had a teledoc with his doctor going over labs that we just had last week. And so I took him to go get labs. He goes to the VA, and we've been watching blood work. I love when he goes and gets panels, because I get to see him and I get to see the proof of how he's improving little by little. And again, it blew my mind that him being 85 years old, y'all, he is still like, he even being older, his body is regenerating super fast with these patches. It is unheard of. So again, we was listening to the doctor today, and I was like so blown away. He's not on a whole lot of medication. He's on a very little small blood pressure pill, and he's on a little bit of a blood sugar pill. And y'all, let me tell you, probably in another 6 months, he's going to be completely off everything, because every bit of his blood work came back normal. His triglycerides, his cholesterol, his blood pressure, everything did. And when I tell you, like, what was really intriguing, because he started out a year ago, his A1C and his blood sugar, and if you know anything about that number, it's the hardest number to get down and to make move. And so he started out at 8.6 A1C. And in 5 months, he had a panel done, and it dropped down to 7.1. Well, this morning, just today, I looked and I heard him say, the A1C looks really, really good. You're coming on down. It's literally, and I wrote down 6.5. So literally, he don't even need that little corner of, or little quarter of a blood sugar med. So we're going to work with his doctor, and we're going to see if we can't maybe come off of that, and he's just doing so well, and he's healing so fast. But he couldn't have done this without these patches. He and my mom both have had incredible results and test results. My dad, we went over the little I guess it was the bone density part of his scan, and he said, well, you're 84 or 85, Mr. Mabry. And he was talking to him, and he says, you're not quite what they call osteopenia. I think I'm saying that right. It's
Right.
before you get diagnosed with osteoporosis, and it's a progression. He says, well, you're really not even that. Can't even say that you're osteopenia, because you're still like a +1. And if you know the numbers, that's a great normal range for an 85-year-old man who's supposed to have some type of deterioration, right? So when I tell you, like, these have been a game changer, this has been a game changer. And we have had so much fun watching these test results come back, and just his life getting back to normal. Like, before he had this second injury, he was back in the gym, and he was going dancing with my mom, and he was going back to church, and was able to, go to the ball game and sit for 2 hours at a ball game. And he just doing those things he enjoyed doing. But I'll tell you this, I will be back in probably a few more months just to give you an update, because right now he is in no pain at all. And the second back injury, second vertebrae compression fractures, and he's healed. He's healed. We thought we were going to be advised to, there was a little procedure where, and I forgot what you call it, I won't even butcher the name, but it's where you put the cement in between the vertebrae to stabilize that vertebrae. Well, they come back and said after the MRI, he says, well, you're not a candidate because your bones already healed. This is an 85-year-old man. His bones are supposed to take at least 8 weeks to heal. And y'all, it healed in 3 weeks. From the time of the injury to the MRI was almost about 3.5 weeks. And they had already healed. So he says, well, you don't need that. So, if you need to get out of pain or something like that, we can think about a steroid shot. But y'all, this is huge when you see, and you're probably like me, like you've had loved ones, I've had cousins and I've had grandmothers, that have passed away. And I would think, golly, I wished I had these patches when they were around. Well, I've got them
Amen.
now with my dad around. You better believe I'm gonna stick stickers all over them, and they're working. They're working, and he knows and he can see it. But they've changed our whole world. I mean, if they're going to be here, you want their quality of life to be A1, because I'm an advocate for my aging parents. But let me tell you something, they are doing great, and I do, because he's not a big health guy. I mean, he's still going to eat his moon pies and he's going to drink his Diet Coke and he's going to probably have the piece of cherry pie and probably two pieces, but he's not that health conscious. So I know that these patches are really doing a great thing in his body, both of them.
That's it.
That's so powerful, Tracy. That it's like you said, this is like for him and for Harold and for Rich, for Debbie's dad too. This is like the holy grail of age reversal, because when you're in your 80s, you're not supposed to be having master cells marching again like crazy, and restoring bone and avoiding surgeries. So I'm so glad that both of you have your dads back. They have their life back, their health. They can live a joyful, wonderful life, and that you both introduced them to this technology that has made such a huge impact on them, because you're not having to, you're checking on them, but you're not having to do elder care. It's like this a hard thing. I did that with my grandmother, and like we were talking about today, Tracy, too. I wish I would have known about these 10 years ago. I wish I would have known about this, but because I know for the ones that know about it now and that will believe in it and that use it, like you said, we just have testimonies for years now of every age of person, every condition known to man. And when you can get the patch on, David Smith created this amazing technology, and this is what can happen. And I'm glad that you too, Tracy, put him on. You've got him on that. You said the X39, the X49, which that's definitely both together such a powerhouse of helping him with his bones and with the master cells, getting them marching again. And Eon and Carnosine, is that right?
That's correct. That's what's
Perfect.
helping us. I believe that's what's really helping the blood sugar issues and his blood pressure issues. It's a game changer.
Wow, that's so good. Thank you so much for keeping us on him. And that sounds like a perfect combination that's helped him massively in so many ways. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah,
Amazing. Now, I want to ask permission to do something. Are you okay with if I share something?
absolutely.
Okay. I'm a Southern girl, and we have a thing about our daddies, and everybody talk about their dads tonight. I got to talk about mine. And you guys, my dad is soon to be 81. He is a missionary, and he did not. I've been patching for almost 4 years, and he wouldn't patch. Now, he'll take any prescription a doctor gives him because the doctor did it, but his daughter, who had a miracle story herself, but he has not patched. So last year, when Hurricane Helene hit here in Western North Carolina, there was patches given out to workers that were helping with the recovery effort. My dad was one of those workers. And so because they were given to him, he started patching last October. Okay. Now, fast forward, he got addicted to him. Now he's ordering them. Now he buys them. Now he likes them. In January, so just a few weeks ago, he went. Now, my dad is a heart patient, a diabetic, on cholesterol medication, high blood pressure medication, 5 stents in his heart, the whole thing. The doctor took him off his blood pressure medication, and the doctor took him off his cholesterol medication. And I went, Daddy, that's the patches. He went, well, I'm not sure about that. And I went,
Ah,
you're almost 81 years old. And that cake, he's a Baptist preacher eating chicken and cake every Sunday. Daddy, there ain't nothing else going on, but those patches are taking care of you. So we had a really good time with that, and he's just enjoying the patching. And the doctor even said, "Have you been lightheaded? Because your blood pressure is really, actually, really low. We've got to get this blood pressure medication gone because you're regulating on your own." And I said, "Well, you just keep those patches on." Dad's using the X39 and the X49. So I'm super excited for my dad and seeing such amazing results. Now, what is this crazy thing that we're talking about? I'm just going to rip it off my back and show you. Look at this. Okay, I've had this on my back all day from this morning. We want to keep it on 12 hours, and then we take it off, and then we just discard it. Or put it on a fur baby that we might love in the morning or in their bedding, or tuck it in their collar. It can help with some aches and pains and aging issues that our fur pets might have. But this is the LifeWave technology. This is a historical breakthrough launch of a lifetime that you have available to you today, right now. And if you're like Tracy, Debbie, and I, and and you love someone in your family and you want them to be around for a long, long time, you need to get this patch on them. Or if you're struggling with some kind of issue, you need to get this patch on them. Or if you're looking for an opportunity to share something to make an impact in the world, in your life, you need to get to patching. Now, the owner inventor of this product, his name is David Smith. I know that April referred to him in just a little bit earlier, but our company's been around almost 21 years. The very first product that we launched was a little over 20 years ago, and it was called Energy Enhancer. And it was actually for our U.S. Navy SEALs to have something that they could wear on their bodies and sustain long time energy on their missions without narcotics or pharmaceuticals or something that was damaging or addictive. And now we have international athletes, Olympians, NFL players, all using this patch. And how can they use it? It's non-transdermal. How can you use it without it having any contradictions to any other medications or condition that you're dealing with? It's non-transdermal. This is light therapy. This is heat therapy. So you just take the patch, you put it on in the morning, and as soon as it hits the body, over 4,000 genes start to reset just like that. And they start transforming your life, just like you saw the pictures of Debbie's dad tonight, and just like you heard the stories about Tracy and my dad. Changes start happening in the body. Now, sometimes you don't see them as quickly as you might notice them in something like a blood panel or some blood workup. And the owner inventor does recommend that you just commit. This isn't going to be a one and done thing. You've got to commit to at least 1 month for every decade of life. Okay. I'm in my 50s. I needed to commit to 5 months, but I'm almost 4 years in now and will never, ever, ever live without this amazing product. How does it work? It's photobiomodulation. You want me to say it again? Photobiomodulation. You can look it up. You can Google GHK-CU. What does GHK-CU do? It activates the stem cells in our body. And when we activate dormant and dying stem cells, great things like the testimonies that you just heard start firing again and start healing, repairing, and restoring your body to the whole body young wellness that you had earlier on. So what's in it? Well, it's patented, but there's little amino crystals, sugars, water, all natural, safe, affordable, and effective ways of rejuvenate the body. And it's all in that little sticker. It's all in that little patch with the crystal lattice that triggers that peptide to do all the good stuff. Now, has it been tested? And what would your doctor say? Depends on your doctor. But I'll tell you this, we've had over 90 independent, third-party, double-blind, placebo, peer-reviewed clinical studies and trials. That's the highest review you can get. And they all came back really good. They all came back with like a 96% effective rate. 96%. That's pretty good. So that means it's probably going to work for you, just like it's worked for Debbie and Tracy's and my dad tonight.